Thanks very much, Abra, for joining us. So the speaker there saying that it's all systems go, they're ready for tomorrow, touching on a number of points.
She did reflect on the situation with the 14 soldiers and that Parliament is asking the SANDF if they can take into account what happened to these 14 soldiers in the DRC and somehow incorporate that into their proceedings tomorrow. The SANDF, as you know, plays a very, very big part in the ceremony and the pomp and the proceedings of SONA. So they, of course, have been practicing and preparing for tomorrow. In fact, tonight there should be a dress rehearsal in the streets, as there is every single year. But now we might see something a little bit different, just so that those 14 soldiers can be commemorated somehow. In terms of what Parliament itself is doing for those soldiers, on Monday there is a debate in the National Assembly. Parties have called for a debate on the matter, so there will be a debate in the House on what happened in the DRC. And also then what the Speaker said is that the the Programming Committee, the National Assembly Programming Committee, they are yet to sit down and discuss a way forward in terms of what exactly Parliament is going to do to commemorate the 14 soldiers. So that is what was said about the SANDF and that situation which unfolded just over a week ago. Then in terms of security, there were questions around the Rwanda and South Africa tussle, if I can call it that, and what exactly will there be beefed up security for the president in light of remarks that have been made. We were told that that is not within the purview of Parliament itself, that the protection services and security is a detail that belongs to other departments like the State Security Agency and the police. So the Speaker herself is not in a position to comment on extra security. What I can tell you is in previous years, in my experience, on SONA Day, we see snipers on the roof of the precinct. We see police personnel lining the highway coming in to the city. We see armed SAPS members on bridges as you enter the city as well. So there is generally a bigger police and security presence. For instance, the parking lot where all the parliamentary and everybody who's based in Parliament, the parking lot that we use, that has now been turned into a SAPS area where all the searches are going to be taking place. Everybody who's going to be coming in will have to go through that area where they have the K9 unit. So that is what's happening in terms of security that we know of. In terms of beefed up security regarding the Rwanda issue, we haven't got an update on that as yet. I also asked about former presidents who have been invited, and she confirmed that Presidents Thabo Mbeki, Motlanthe and Zuma, President Zuma, former presidents, have confirmed that they will be in attendance tomorrow. Nompu?
And Abra, just in terms of the cost of this function, this pomp and ceremony that we're going to see tomorrow at Parliament, what did they tell us about the cost of that?
The Secretary to Parliament, Mr. George, mentioned a figure of 6 million rand. If I recall correctly, he said this was also what Parliament spent on SONA last year, so there hasn't been an increase that we know of. Another issue that I didn't mention, in the National Assembly Programming Committee last week, there was quite an intense, heated debate between MPs from different parties who were saying that under no circumstances should alcohol be served at the SONA because MPs should not be drinking on the job, and that this isn't a good look for Parliament, and what kind of, how are they reflecting to the rest of the country by having alcohol at the SONA itself. So there is going to be a dinner afterwards, but during the time of SONA, no food or beverages will be served. And they also did mention that some of the food and beverages, they did get sponsors who will be seeing to that part of the catering. But the price tag on tomorrow is 6 million rand, Nompu.
And then the other thing, Abra, you know, this thing of encouraging people to wear South African-made clothing. Some people, you know, say, oh, but why, you know, are they wearing fancy clothes and trying to make the rest of us look bad? But actually the reason for that is to try and promote the local fashion industry.
Nompu, I'm the wrong person to ask about that because I've got such strong views on the red carpet fashion side of SONA. Yesterday I spoke to an MP who told me that she still has to go out and buy her shoes for the day. And I said, but why do you have to go out and buy new shoes? SONA isn't about the fashion, it's about the people of the country. You don't need to buy new clothes for the day. And she actually said to me, because of the tradition of wearing these beautiful gowns from, designer gowns, because of that tradition, there are still some MPs who buy into that practice. I personally think that there are more important things for them to be focusing on. I have spoken to MPs in the past who said, no, they just would pop into their local store and just get something off the rack, or they would just wear something that they already have in their cupboards. But yes, we did hear the speaker saying that if anybody wants to, doll up and just look a bit more special tomorrow, that they're encouraging them to rather buy from South African designers. And this is, of course, to boost the fashion industry in South Africa.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you so much, Abra, for that report there. That's my colleague Abra Barbier reporting from Parliament.